Hey everyone, welcome back to Monitor Comics. In today's video, I'm going to be going over different comic effects and when it is best to use each. Just to give you a quick rundown about everything we're going to be going over in this video, I'll first be talking about speed lines and all of the variants that come along with it, and then I'll be going over focus lines and all the variants that come along with that, and then I'll be talking about the more obscure effects that could be useful to you in your project. If this is your first time checking out my channel, then allow me to introduce myself. I'm Monitor, and I'm a freelance comic book artist. I've had my work published in several magazines, including Search Magazine, International Voices, and Saturday AM. So please check me out on my Instagram at MonitorComics. And while you're at it, please check out my previous videos where I go over paneling, how to make good relatable characters, and how to pitch your story to an editor so you can get your work published. Okay, so the first effect I want to introduce to you is the speed line. Speed lines are a series of lines used to represent motion. On the screen, you should see a page from Naruto where speed lines are used. Typically, speed lines are angled a bit to emphasize that direction that the character is going. Speed lines could also appear completely perpendicular, like in the example on the screen here, where they're completely horizontal. So typically this completely horizontal use of speed lines is used to represent the direction your eyes should be going on the page, and this is usually done in situations where many characters gather and witness something simultaneously. I've also seen this type used when a character is contemplating a decision or struggling to come to terms with something they have to do. Another name for speed lines is the speed stripes, so you might have heard that term thrown around more than speed lines. A variation to the basic speed line is what's called the Gloom Lines. Another name for the Gloom Lines are the gray rain of depression. Gloom lines are exactly what they sound like. They're speed lines that point downward and symbolize a sad atmosphere. On the screen you should see an example of this technique being used. I haven't seen this effect being used more recently, but I try to keep it alive in my own work. This effect can typically be found in gag comics and mostly in anime for comedic effect. The vice versa is true for the second variant of the speed line called the rising line. Rising lines are typically the complete opposite of gloom lines, so they're like flipped on their head, and these are seen way more in shonen manga than the gloom lines. Rising lines typically symbolize excitement or a situation being upbeat. The next type of effect you've probably noticed while reading manga is the focus line. Focus lines are a series of lines that point towards your center of attention. Focus lines come in many different shapes and sizes, with the most basic being the dense focus line. This effect is used to draw your eye to a specific spot on the page. A variant type of focus line is called the flash. Flashes are very dynamic and should be used sparingly. They represent a flash of light and act as a bombshell. Another name for flashes is the beam of enlightenment. These can be found in very revolutionary moments or comedic scenes. Flashes can have multiple origin points, creating 2-point flashes and 3-point flashes. Another variant of the focus line is the vortex. If you don't recognize the term vortex, you may know this effect as the tunnel of foreshadowing. A vortex is a spiral effect that directs your eye towards your center of attention, similar to the regular focus line. The difference is, the vortex is a gradient type of effect that conveys a more uneasy feeling. I haven't seen this effect used too frequently lately, but I have seen it used a few times in the horror genre. So the focus lines and the speed lines are the basics of the basics when it comes to effects. If you use Manga Studio or Clip Studio, you've most likely seen slight variants to each of these effects, but the fundamentals remain the same, they all act in the same way. So now I'll introduce you to a few mood effects. The first one I'm showing you on the screen is the cross-hatching effect. This effect can be used as a good substitute for the gloom line effect. Screen tone gradients can also be used as a good substitute for the gloom line effect. For more romantic effects, I would recommend spheres, bubbles, and gradient screen tone effects. Another name for these romantic effects are the love bubbles and the love flowers. I'll flash a few shoujo manga panels across the screen right now, but trust me, these soft effects are used a lot as sparkling and affectionate symbolizers. While effects are a great way to cut out some empty space, don't slack off on your backgrounds. Effects should be used sparingly. I'd recommend only using 1 or 2 effects max per page, and if you're going to use several effects, make sure they're spread out across the page so it doesn't look like you're avoiding drawing the background. I know this is a shorter video than usual, but I just wanted to give you a broad understanding of the different effects that you can use in your comic and manga. So I hope you learned something from this video and you can add some of these effects to your arsenal while you're working on your own projects. If you are a digital artist, then most of these effects should be available to you as assets in Manga Studio or Clip Studio. If you are a Photoshop user, I'm sure there are downloadable Photoshop documents somewhere of these effects. And if you're a traditional artist, whip out that ruler and good luck, Charlie. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any more juicy content. As always, you can find links to my social media accounts down below. Let me know in the comments section if you have any questions or just want to talk about your own comic project. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.